up? So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you with that extra spice. We're going to be ranking every single weapon in Minecraft from worst to best. So not only are we going to be looking at your true weapons like swords, tridents, and bows, but we're gonna take it even a little bit further and look at the non-traditional weapons like axes and even hoes for the lulz. It's gonna be a pretty big video. Now, before we do get into it, I just wanted to mention that we're not going to be including enchantments on this video. However, we will be doing it in the next one. Enchantments just make everything way more complicated. I wanted to start things out easy, and we're just going to be looking at the weapons as they are unenchanted. Because, you know, once you get enchantments, it's like 14 different versions of each weapon, and it's really complicated, so we're gonna start things easy. Anyways, if you guys want to see more Minecraft, please leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe for that part 2, which is gonna be coming soon. And let's do this. All right, so not only are we going to be doing this as in a ranking format, but I thought we'd also throw tiers in just to make it a little extra fun. And coming in at number 29, in not even the F tier, but the FF tier, because it is so bad, and the lowest spot on our list, this is going to be the Golden Hoe. And I'm not talking about your favorite e-girl. No, I'm talking about that really absolute garbage piece of trash that is the Gold Hoe. The Gold Hoe is worse than fists. You could literally be holding a piece of pork chop, and that is better and faster at killing than the Golden Hoe. So what makes the Golden Hoe so bad, you may ask? So the Gold Hoe actually does the same amount of damage as your fist, which is 1 or half a heart. But the problem with it is that it actually attacks slower. It has an attack speed of 1 shot a second, giving it a damage per second of 1. It will take 10 seconds, if done perfectly, to kill a pig. A pig. And all this isn't even considering the fact that it has 33 uses as it's a gold tool. Why are you making gold tools? Don't make gold tools. Bad idea. Now the other weapon in our FF tier at 28 is going to be the Wood Hoe. And this actually shares all the same stats as the Golden Hoe. It just has a little bit better durability of 60. Anyways, moving on to our F tier, and coming in at 27, this is the Stone Hoe. What makes the Stone Hoe better than the other two? Well, it actually just attacks quicker. This weapon, fun fact, has the exact same stats as the Fist. Attack speed of 2, 1 damage or half a heart per shots for a DPS of 2. But, you know, it breaks, so why would you ever waste your time with this thing when you could just use your fist? Anyways, though, from here at 26, we've got the Iron Hoe, followed at 25 by the Diamond. So fun fact, the Iron and Diamond Hoe are respectively the second and first fastest attacking objects in the game. For comparison, the Diamond Sword has an attack speed of 1.6 and the Diamond Hoe is 4, which means you can land 4 shots a second. But there's a big problem. So you know when you hit an enemy and they go red and then they're like immune for that brief second? Well, because of that, you can pretty much only land about 2 shots on a mob per second. Now, I guess if you're fighting multiple enemies, this can in fact be useful, but again, you're only landing 1 damage a shot, and you're wasting your Diamond Hoe. Why? Anyways, at number 24, we have the Golden Pickaxe. This is actually the last weapon to be ranked below the Fist. The Gold Pickaxe actually does 2 damage a shot, which is 1 full heart. But because it's a gold tool, it has a durability of 33, and when you attack with pickaxes, it actually uses 2 per shot. So you get a total of 17 shots with this guy. Did I mention you're using a gold pickaxe? I don't even care if you're mining with this thing. What the heck are you doing? You're wasting your gold, you're wasting your time, and you honestly just deserve to die. And ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 23, a nice 6 above every other thing we just listed is the Fist. 1 damage a shot, you can land 2 shots a second, and it's unlimited. Need I say more? Now moving on from here at number 22, we have the Wood Pickaxe. This again shares all the same stats as the Gold Pickaxe, but you're not wasting 3 gold blocks. And now you only get 30 uses with this thing as compared to 17, but at least if you really had to, you could just make a whole bunch of them, and you're not really gonna be sad about losing a wooden pickaxe. All right, at 21, we have the first shovel on our list, and as it may probably not be surprising at all, actually, it's the Gold Shovel. Okay, so the gold shovel lands 2.5 damage a shot, which is just roughly over 1 heart. It's got an attack speed of 1 for a DPS of 2.5, but did I mention it's a gold shovel? Again, you got 17 uses with this thing and it's gone. I mean, it's only 1 gold brick, so I guess if you have to make a weapon out of gold, don't make weapons out of gold. Don't make any tool at all out of gold. And anyways, following this at number 20 on our list, we have the wood shovel. Once again, exact same stats as the gold with 2.5 damage a shot, but it's not made of a precious mineral. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to take us to the D tier. Everything that we just went through are weapons that you're basically going to die if you're in anything more than a 1v1 encounter. The D tier is really bad, but you might get by. So number 19, we have the stone pickaxe. So the stone pickaxe does a damage of 3 or 1.5 hearts, and you can actually land it a little bit quicker than 1 shot a second. And that actually gives it a damage per second of 3.6. And now the stone shovel, which is coming in at number 18, is actually very similar. It's got an attack speed of 1, damage of 3.5, giving it a damage per second of 3.5, which practically makes these two things tied. And while a 3.6 DPS versus 3.5 may on paper sound better, in realistic fights, it's not going to make much of a difference, and you're better off just to take the 3.5 per hit. Either way, though, you're probably going to die. Now, moving on right to our number 17 spot, this is going to be the iron pickaxe. The iron pickaxe has a damage of 4 and a damage per second of 4.8, as compared to the iron shovel coming in at number 16 with a damage of 4.5 and a DPS of 4.5. And again, I would say it's the exact same thing for this one. I mean, if you're really in a pickle where you need to use an iron shovel or an iron pickaxe, you're probably not going to be surviving this one, but the shovel is your best bet. Again, it only does half a shot more, but the DPS really isn't high enough to make much of a difference. And so for that reason, well, go with the shovel. All right, so now ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the C tier. At number 15, exact same pattern, we're just repeating this. We have the diamond pickaxe, which followed right by it at number 14 is going to be the diamond shovel. All of these 3 options are really just so close that it doesn't make a huge difference. But again, the shovel in each case does 0.5 damage more. That's a quarter of a heart, so it's not a big deal, but in a long fight, it could make a difference. The diamond pickaxe has a DPS of 6 versus 5.5, so that may be a little bit alluring, I suppose. But personally, I'm going to go with the diamond shovel. Anyways, we're pretty much through the absolute garbage trash tier weapons. Or, you know, at least all the things that you would never seriously consider using as a weapon unless you're in a dire situation. Number 13, we have the golden axe. Oh man, the golden axe. Very interesting. Okay, so golden axe, as all gold items do, let me remind you, 33 uses. But because it's an axe, it takes 2 per shot, so you get 17 hits with this guy. But the really interesting thing about the golden axe is it actually does the same amount of damage per shot as a diamond sword. I am not lying to you. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah. Now, does it attack a little bit slower? Yes. Does it break really quickly? Yes. Is it made out of gold? Yes. But still, you can land 7s, which are 3.5 hearts with this guy, so it's not all that bad. I just hope you're not ready to fight more than like 2 enemies. And followed by the golden axe at number 12, we have the golden sword. Now, I did want to take a moment to actually talk about enchantments. For those of you that have been wanting to comment this, gold does actually take enchantments very well. So there's an argument where you could say like, oh, the gold version is better than the wooden version because it's going to take the enchantment well. My argument against that being 1, you're wasting your gold, and 2, you're wasting your time enchanting because it is going to break very quickly. And that's all besides the point that we're not even looking at enchantments for this video. Gold sword does 4 damage, but has a DPS of 7, so it's actually fairly decent, you know, until it breaks after 33 hits. Which once again is going to follow our trend after the gold version. We have the wooden sword. Wooden sword also does 4 damage, but it actually attacks a little bit slower than the gold. Yeah, it's kind of fun. They do some weird things with gold weapons, making them attack quick for some reason. But the reason that I'm putting the wooden sword over the gold is just that it's so easy to craft and you're not gonna care if it breaks. Whereas with the gold sword, like, it's just so pointless to make that it's not worth the resources. Anyways, moving on from here and actually topping out our number 10 spot, we've got the wooden axe. The wooden axe is actually not that bad. So this thing actually does the same amount of damage as the gold axe which means it does the same amount of damage as a diamond sword. That's a beefy boy. Dude, you can actually land some decent blows with a wooden axe. It takes a little bit longer than 1 second a shot to attack a wooden axe, but still, you're not wasting your gold. And, you know, if you need to get, like, maybe some creeper kills, it's not the worst option. Anyways, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to the B tier. Only 2 items in the B tier. First is the stone sword. Now, the stone sword per shot only does 5 damage, which is just 1 up from the wooden version, but actually has a DPS of 8. So you can actually get quite a few shots off with this guy and, you know, have a good time with it. Now, you do also sometimes get the advantage of the sweep with the sword, which I think is a good point to take into consideration. But at number 8, and just outweighing the stone sword, is going to be the stone axe. 9 damage. Stone axe does 9 damage a shot. That's as much as a harpoon. That is as much as a bow. That is 1 full heart more than a diamond sword. And did I mention it's made out of stone? In my opinion, the stone axe is one of the most underrated weapons in all of Fortnite. Everyone loves and knows that the diamond axe is great, but dude, this early game is incredible. It's really good for taking on creepers, as you can just land 1 big beefy shot, back up and continue that, where DPS doesn't matter as much. And you can kill neutral mobs like super fast. 4.5 hearts per shot, 1 beefy and easy to craft boy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's actually going to take us to the A tier. We're finally in some weapons that you can reliably use into the mid-tier game. At number 7, it's going to be the iron axe. Now, my issue with the iron axe and why I'm not putting it over the iron sword is that it doesn't do any more damage than stone. And while it has a durability of 251, you gotta divide that in half because it consumes 2 a shot. You only get 126 shots with this guy, and in my opinion, it's really just not worth it when you're gonna be wanting to use this thing. At the point of the game where I'm at, where I might want to consider using an iron axe, I think I'd still just prefer to use stone because I'm not wasting iron, which still may be a little bit scarce to me. But what I would use my iron on, and coming in at number 6, is the iron sword. Damage on the iron sword takes it up to 6, giving it a DPS actually of 9.6, whereas the iron axe only has a DPS of 8.1, which is noticeable in long fights. I mean, on top of that, the iron sword has 251 uses. You got the sweep. It's an easy choice. And ladies and gentlemen, the final weapon in our A tier, and coming in at number 5, is going to be the crossbow. Crossbow is awesome, but not as good as the bow. Now, once we do this next video where we start looking at enchantments, I promise you this video is going to get very, very more complicated. With the crossbow, you can add crazy stuff to it like fireworks, which make it much more harder to rank. For the sake of this video, again, we're not counting enchantments or any of this fancy stuff, so we're just looking at your base crossbow with normal arrows. Crossbow does 11 damage, which is 5.5 hearts. It will one-shot a pig and pretty much any passive mob. But the thing with the crossbow is that it's slow, and despite it doing a little bit more damage than the bow, in my opinion, it's not worth using. I mean, strap some fireworks to that bad boy. We're talking a little bit different here, but that's not the point of this video. The damage per second of the bow is actually better, and even though the crossbow can be loaded up, I don't think it's better. I mean, maybe if you just had an entire hotbar full of loaded crossbows, that'd be good. But again, not the point of this video. No, the crossbow is a great weapon, but it's only going to be A tier at number 5. Moving on to number 4, this is going to be the diamond axe. So you're up to diamond tier now. Because it's an axe, you got 781 uses on this guy. Damage does not go any higher again from the stone, so it does 9. But it does swing a little bit faster, so it has a damage per second of 9. Now, I see some people say that the diamond axe is better than the diamond sword, but I would strongly disagree. It's really good, again, for landing big, beefy shots on things like creepers that you want to keep a distance from. But in big fights, I feel like you want the DPS of the diamond sword. And a DPS of 9 is not all that bad. I mean, you're landing really beefy shots and fairly quickly. At the end of the day, though, I just don't think it's quite up to par with the next 3 weapons. Now, coming in at number 3, this is gonna be the bow. Dude, the bow is like so good. It has a better damage per second than the crossbow and is also just way easier to create. And this is for the next video, but once you get into the world of enchantments, it probably is like the best weapon in the game. I mean, you can just stand back. You don't even have to engage enemies. Like, That's got to count for something. But even the regular bow, which is what we're looking at in this video, is just incredible. Fully charged, it can land up to 9 damage a shot for 4.5 hearts. At range, don't have to worry about enemies coming close to you. Very cool. Anyways, moving on to number 2. This might be, I think, the most controversial spot of this video, but I stand firm when I say it is the trident. Okay, when we talk about enchantments, it's going to be a much harder placement, but baseline trident is no way better than the diamond sword. So the base trident is for sure better than the diamond axe. They both do the same damage, but because the trident attacks a little quicker, it actually has a damage per second of 9.9 compared to the axe's 9. Oh yeah, and you can throw it. Now, throwing a trident without loyalty is a whole heck of a lot annoying, but I mean, it still is nice to have that in your arsenal if you need to when you're fighting with one. You know, you can poke guys pretty well, and maybe there's just a guy far away and you know he's like low health or something weird. It's nice to have that as an option. The trident is truly a very strong weapon, but without any of the enchantments, it falls short of our number 1 spot, which is, of course, the diamond sword. 7 damage a shot with an attack speed of 1.6 gives it the highest damage per second in the game at 11.6. Not to mention it's got the best durability of any weapon in the game of 1,562 uses. And it's got the ability to sweep multiple enemies. Need I say more, ladies and gentlemen? It's got to be the diamond sword. Anyways, guys, that is it. That is our first official Minecraft ranking video. In the next video, guys, we're going to take an even deeper dive and look at some of the true weapons of the game, but with enchantments. So if you want to stick around for that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. But until then, we've got some more videos you can check out. Thank you guys so much for watching and making it all the way through a non-traditional video. And I'll talk to you guys later.